we are going to turn our attention to UFC 298. Now, top of the bill, of course, featherweight title fight. Ilia Topuria taking on the champion, Alex Volkanovski. No one better to speak to than our very own featherweight prospect, Nathaniel Wood. Nathaniel, how do you see this one shaping up? And how is your perception of how this fight going to go changed in the last 12 months?
So, a huge fan of Volkanovski. I really want him to do the job. But, unfortunately, I think I've got to say that I believe Ilia Topuria is going to get it done. Obviously, Volkanovski's not long come off a knockout loss. But regardless of that, I just feel that with history, every dominant champion eventually has that decline. And I feel like Ilia Topuria is going to be the guy to kind of, dethrone him. And Ilia Topuria is good, man. I know a few people that know him personally and have just said how amazing he is. He's good everywhere. Well, no, he's not good everywhere. He's amazing everywhere. I don't want to sound like a fanboy to him because, he's a potential opponent for the future, but he is, he's great everywhere. And of course, so is Volkanovski. And, you can't say anything about Volkanovski's CV. So I really want Volk to win.
Yep.
I do feel that Topuria's going to get it done, but, it is MMA and they are both amazing fighters and obviously the best on the planet. So I'll be tuning in for it 100% and I'll be excited to see who comes out winner.
Help out a couple of layman's here. Hope you don't mind. John. But Ilia Topuria looks really good. But to beat Alexander Volkanovski, you've got to be special. So what is it that he does that makes him special?
He's just so dominant in every area that he has. Obviously, as I say, I know a few people that know him personally and have just said how amazing he is. So to have them kind of vouch for him, to me, is a lot. Of course, Volkanovski is amazing everywhere. He really is. But I just feel that maybe it's that time now where the young up-and-comer kind of takes over. And then you got to talk about Volkanovski coming off a knockout loss, which was just 3 months ago. It was the same night I fought. So it wasn't long ago. And obviously, not only could that take a little chink out of his armour, because Volk's been so dominant, even though he lost to, obviously, Makhachev the first time, it was a very close fight. A lot of people had him winning, which I did. And now he's got that knockout loss. It's like, ching, that piece of armour you've damaged. And, going straight back into a fight camp straight after that, I don't know if that is the smartest thing. I really hope he does it and proves me wrong and shuts me up. But yeah, that's my opinion at the end of the day. But he's what better person to do it? So I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
It takes time to recover from a knockout, doesn't it? You need more than 3 months, I think. Not just like physically. There's that. I mean, almost your confidence, right? Even though Volkanovski is obviously a incredibly seasoned fighter, it still has that new crack in your confidence that can split wide open when you're up against someone who looks to be the kind of coming man, doesn't he?
Yeah, and straight away I look at it as, okay, how's his fight camp going to be? So coming off a knockout loss, if I was his coach, I wouldn't have him back in sparring, not hard anyway. So then I think, okay, if he did, let's say he had an 8-week fight camp, that's quite a quick turnaround after coming off a knockout loss, unless your sparring partners are going to be quite light with you. Are you the type of guy, because when I've seen footage of him training, he goes quite hard. Is he the type of guy that wants to come into a fight camp having light sparring? I don't know. So then I think, is he having the fight camp that he should be having? Is he coming in there 100%? Or is he coming straight back in to just keep focused? I know he said a lot about with his mental health, he needs to stay in training camp. Otherwise he's kind of off on different things. And yeah, I just think that maybe that's a lot going on in his head. I know first and foremost what it's like to be going into a fight with a lot of stuff in your head, and I just think it's not going to go his way. But I really, really do want him to. So, I'm kind of being torn left and right for this one.
For yourself, for your career, for someone who's got ambitions of breaking right into that top 15, pushing towards a title shot, is it better for you if Topuria wins?
I don't know. I think as a fan, if Topuria wins, it's a lot more exciting. A lot of stuff now happens. Volk's obviously been so dominant for so long. Like who wants to see Max Holloway and Volk again? They've fought so many times. It's kind of done with now. I think, you know, if Ilia Topuria does beat him, then it does shake things up a little bit. But yeah, I do really want Volk to win. So, you know, it's hard for me to say it. But yeah, I think Ilia Topuria is going to win. And then I think the division's going to definitely start shaking up. And I think there's going to be some exciting fights coming in the future.
Why do you think he jumped into that last fight at short notice? Like, why do that?
So, obviously, I'm thinking it must have been a good paycheck.
Yeah.
Must have been, you know, wasn't it a week or 2 weeks' notice? So, I can only imagine that the UFC paid him very, very well. And at the end of the day, we are fighters. So, in our minds, you know, we're like, at any moment, let's go. A lot of it would come down, I think, to the coach to say, maybe not on a week's notice. So I'm sure that he went into that fight thinking that he was going to do a lot better than obviously he did. And I guess when you're going up a weight, it's a bit like, okay, you know, you lost, but no one's going to judge you for that loss. You took it on such short notice against a guy above your weight who is one of the pound for pound best on the planet. You know, that's not done any harm to your legacy.
Maybe not to his legacy, and sorry to interrupt you. Maybe not to his legacy, but is this not about his future? Because I get what people were saying when this is a win-win situation. You win, unbelievable.
Mhm.
You lose, it's going to be a tough ask anyway. But the downside is if you lose and you get kicked in the head while you do lose, and you suffer physically and mentally because of that, and then you come back to this division where you've been an absolute god for the last few years, and all of a sudden people are looking at you like, he's going to lose this fight.
Yeah.
And if he loses it by a knockout, well, that's 2 knockouts you've had in the last 4 months. What does the future hold for Alexander Volkanovski? So I understand what you're saying, but there's no such thing as a win-win in fight sports, right? Because there is the potential to get hurt.
He did say in an interview I saw the other day that he loves doubters, you know, and I prefer being the underdog when it comes to a fight. For that last fight, everyone was kind of writing off my opponent, and I didn't like that, you know. I felt like that was putting more pressure on me, which I didn't like. So I hope that him having all this doubt and people saying, you know, he done a funny video the other day about him being too old and stuff like that.
Absolutely fantastic.
I hope that he comes in and he proves everyone wrong. And
But you're one of his doubters.
yeah, but not in a hater way. You know, I just feel like it's that time, and I really don't want him to lose. I really want him to win. I want him to do the job. I just hope it's a good fight as well, you know, for the fans as well. It would break my heart if he was to come in and get smashed. You know, say Ilia Topuria came in and done what he did to Josh Emmett, to Volkanovski. That would break my heart. Hopefully it's a really good fight, and even if it's a back and forth fight, you know, and it's who won, cool. But yeah, I do think Ilia Topuria is going to get the job done and move on to 15-0 and undefeated.